Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
This is episode 468, right? Yeah, 468. Snow Brown and the Poison Box Office.
If you would have put the little decimal between the 6 and the 8 and said it was million, that's more than what Snow Brown made this in domestically.
Yeah. Sometimes karma is worse than a poison apple.
She should have force-fed her that poison apple.
And we'll get into this, but like, what world would a movie producer look at Gal Gadot, and then look at whatever Rachel Zegler is and think, I'd rather have that.
Well, it's about what's on the inside, so that would mean, oh, never mind.
Well, that's even worse.
I know.
So, yeah. So I watched, excuse me. I watched Shazam, Fury of the Gods a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I hadn't seen it, and I liked the first one. Wow. That was a bad movie, and she was in it. And she was the worst part of it.
I watched the first 20 minutes or so, and I just turned it off. I said, and this was like a lot when it first came on, streaming, and I just haven't gone back to it yet.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, maybe I'll watch it. Then I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. And I'm like, oh, it's on my list, so that means I'm never going to watch it. And then it turned up on something that wasn't Max, and that's when I watched it.
Yeah, well, at least I watched Timothy's Pantera tonight. Well, actually, over the last 3 days, basically.
It's such a good movie.
It's good. Yes, it's good.
O'Shea Jr.
Yeah,
he is. He's quite the chonky boy in that one. But man, that boy can act.
Yeah, he's really good.
So, I want to see him in more stuff. He was in the one with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen. Where she was the vice president or whatever.
Yes.
And,
what was that called?
The candidate, the running mate, something like that.
I actually like that movie.
He's Seth Rogen's best friend in that, and he was really good in that too. But the first thing I saw him in was Den of Thieves. So, and he's been in a few things. I like him. He's big into wrestling like we are. He's got a real championship belt. He doesn't have one of the gay CM Punk belts or anything like that. It's like, look, if you want to bring a pride flag to an event, just bring a pride flag. You don't have to bring a CM Punk belt or a Pat McAfee flag.
Yeah, the first thing I ever saw him in was Straight Outta Compton. He played Ice Cube, which is hilarious.
Oh, that's right. He did. You're right.
He was damn good in it.
I saw that after I saw Den of Thieves, though. So
yeah, I actually saw that in theaters one day. I was just like, you know what? Let me go check this out.
Straight Outta Compton, a crazy mom.
Okay, Den of Thieves was 2018. Okay, Long Shot. That's what it is.
Long Shot. Yeah. So, but anyway, so yeah, I'm glad you finally watched it. It's a good one. Ugh, I gotta stop yawning. We're recording way late. It's almost my bedtime. Anyway, all right. So this week we're talking about Snow Brown and the box office woes, or the box office of woe. Much more poetic. Daredevil and Reacher, the penultimate episode of Reacher.
Yes, and yes.
So, okay. So let's hop right onto Snow Brown right now. So, or rather, let's not. Let's just talk about it. So she looks like a fish.
She looks like she looks like she looks like the page boy. A medieval page boy.
She looks like Lord Farquaad, like that meme I sent you, or that reel I sent you. But yeah, I'm sorry. Snow White is the movie that made Disney. It was the first animated film in 1937. It crushed. It's it is not objectively a classic. It is objectively a classic. It's
one of the
probably
first ever classics.
Yeah, it's probably the GOAT of animation for the way it's held up for almost 100 years now. And
oh my goodness, yeah,
and we've had other tellings of it. There was the
Snow White and the Huntsman.
Well, yeah, there was that. There was the one with Drew Barrymore, like Everfield or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
We've had several like retellings and things like that. So like that's nothing new. But like this time around, it was just different, right? It was different because you had this little troll out there who was like weird, making stupid faces, saying stupid things, being woefully uninformed about politics and the things that she was talking about. And it was a surprise to me, right? That at no point did Disney try to shut that down. The other thing that I thought was interesting is the shit that she was saying, and she has an Israeli co-star who, mind you, no one in a million years would be like, who's the fairest one of them all, and pick the fish girl over Wonder Woman.
I mean, let's be honest, there's not many people that you could compare and would pick over Wonder Woman. So, I mean, let alone the page boy.
Just my wife. That's it.
So, not Liv Morgan?
I have to say that. She's in the room with a gun.
Not Liv Morgan?
I mean, shh. I don't want to get I don't want to get in trouble with Dom. Anyway. He's got that flowing mullet. It's amazing. But no, okay. So in this movie was fraught with issues. It wasn't just like, so here's the thing. It's not just her. That's the thing. She's the one who's going to catch all the blame for it. I think Peter Dinklage should catch a fair amount of blame for this one. For what he said about dwarf actors, which, he basically pulled the ladder to success up behind him almost as fast as a black woman in corporate America. And, it's like all of that. There was all the reshoots. They had the diversity gang. It was Snow White and the diversity hires. I think that was the joke, right? Which I think there was a dwarf in there. That wasn't Peter Dinklage. And then they replaced them with what I can only describe as nightmare fuel of CGI dwarves that made the first version of Sonic, before they were listened to the fans and went back and fix it, look palatable.
Okay, look, this is... So, yes, I absolutely agree about Peter Dinklage. And as much as I despise her, you cannot put all the blame of this movie's failure on Zegler. A lot of it, I'd say actually most of it, to start off with, goes with Disney. Why? Because Disney, once again, is trying to make money off the husk of something other people created a long time ago that is beautiful and that is wonderful and that people remember fondly. And what does Disney do with things like that? They shit on it. They try to make money off of it, and they just make things infinitely worse.
Right.
You can go down the line on all the other live action movies, and although I will admit I did watch the trailer to Lilo and Stitch, and I am kind of want to see that.
The live action one?
Yeah, I watched the trailer, and it kind of put a big smile on my face watching that trailer.
So funny thing about Lilo and Stitch. I've never seen it.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen it in honestly, I have not seen that movie in 30 years.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, I've never seen it.
Or not, 25 years. Okay.
Like Stitch, is he an alien? Is he some kind of pig thing?
He's an alien.
I don't know what he is, but yeah.
Yeah, he's an alien. He's awesome. He's like the Tasmanian devil, mixed with a cat, mixed with, I don't even know what else. So,
okay.
Yeah, he's a troublemaker.
Okay.
He's awesome. But again, Disney does this, and yes, I'm glad you brought up Peter Dinklage, because I did see a headline, I think it was earlier today, where there are some little people / dwarves that are going to sue Disney for discrimination.
Cool.
I didn't read the article, so I don't know any. I just saw this quick headline, and I meant to capture it and send it to you, and I think I got sidetracked and never found it again.
Okay.
But
well,
again, if you're going to make something like this, if you're all about checking the boxes, how in the hell, as Disney, are you saying, you know what, we're not going to hire real people, real little people. We're going to just make nightmare fuel,
yeah.
something that's in a horror movie type thing, and call it our Seven Doors.
Mm-hmm.
Really? And again, with all of that, then you have Zegler just opening her mouth over and over and over again. And it reminded me, somebody at Disney, I don't know how they didn't do this, but it reminded me of that not comic, but that little animated strip where it's when someone wants to ask a question at work when a meeting is about to begin, and the one guy's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
How did no one say that to her?
I don't know. Well, they said there was an article that said that she had a what's it called? Like a social media person vetting all of her stuff.
Well, that person should be fired.
Her posts and whatnot, and it's like, okay.
Because and this is the thing, I don't give a damn what side of the aisle you're on.
Right.
Even if you're on my side, say for instance, and you say I hope these people don't know peace.
Right.
You're objectively a terrible person. Like there's no discussion about it. There's no arguments. There's nothing you can tell me. You're a terrible person. Now that doesn't mean you can't change,
right.
But saying something like that, you are a terrible person. Mm-hmm. And I would say that to anyone's face if you said that. You're a terrible person.
Yeah.
Because you're saying because someone doesn't agree with you. And again, not people that are burning down buildings, not people that are burning cars or burning streets and all that stuff. People that have a different opinion, and you're saying, may you never know peace.
Right.
That's one of the most disgusting things you can say to someone or about someone that you don't know, that you've never met. You're a terrible person. Right. I hope you change.
Yeah.
But from saying that, you are absolutely a terrible person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just really weird, to have someone be that just divisive in something where you only make money if fans show up. Like she was talking about, there was the Winged Victory showed up at the Louvre in pieces and people still stood in line to see it. And she's like, and people will still stand in line to meet me. And it's like, you are an insane person. You need your phone taken away from you. You need a detox, whatever the little Zachary Levi therapy thing he went to, that got him right in the head where he needed to feel good about himself. That's what she needs to go do.
Yeah. And I am not a fan of any of these, well, or generally speaking, live action changes of an animated. I thought Beauty and the Beast was fine. I actually did dig the Jungle Book one. And I definitely don't like whether it's race bending, race swapping, gender swapping, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I will say this, though. Haley Bailey almost got me to watch The Little Mermaid remake, but I did not. And you know why she almost got me to watch it? Is because of what she said about the original. She had nothing but wonderful things to say about the original. Yeah. She didn't shit on it or talk about how weird it is. All she said was, oh, I remember growing up and, wanting to be Ariel and all this stuff. And again, almost watched it, but no, thank you. But that's how you talk about a movie,
right?
Or a classic like that. That's how you talk. You don't shit on it like Zegler did. Mm-mm. If you think of it that way, then you know what? Don't accept the role.
Right.
Don't accept the role.
Yeah.
Do something else.
Plain and simple. Don't do it. Yeah, something else I was going to say now. I don't remember what it was.
The box office?
Oh, yeah, the box office. Let's talk about the box office. They still haven't released the Monday numbers. Wait, let me double check. Because as of an hour ago, they hadn't. Just now, they have the Monday numbers. It only made $2.5 million.
Ah!
It's so okay. So it went from 3870 per screen on 4200 screens, mind you. All right, 3870, 3719, 2459, 598. And keep in mind, most of America's teenagers are on spring break starting yesterday.
Now I think I'm right, but
actually,
I could
not just America's teenagers. Most of Americans under 18 population is on spring break starting yesterday, and their parents are already sick of them. So
I kind of did a quick tally, and again, I might be a little bit off. So if I'm off, let me know. Other than Mufasa, which only made 35 million domestically,
right,
this movie made less in the opening weekend worldwide than any of or most of the other live actions did.
Oh yeah,
domestically.
Yes, I have a question about Mufasa.
Yes,
I thought it was a straight to Disney Plus movie.
I actually
did it go to the theater?
It actually went to theaters. It came out, I think, in December.
Okay,
mid December or something like that.
You know, you gotta. Yeah. All right, but yeah, so it's sitting at 44.7 million in change domestic, and then 43.9 million in change international. Now, this movie they said was 270 million, but we know it's going to come out more than that. And they had the marketing budget, which they didn't have a huge marketing budget for. I only saw one commercial for it.
I didn't see many. I will say I did not see. I saw more than one, but I didn't
see any ads online or anything like that. There was no. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to say conservatively, they spent 30 million or less on marketing because of what she said of how she
they knew they couldn't recoup that. They absolutely, but they had to throw something at it just to hope.
Now think for a second about a movie that cost, we'll just say 300 million between marketing and box office. Like we'll go super conservative and say 30 million marketing, probably at the high end, and we'll pretend for shits and giggles that the budget didn't go over $300 million because they did reshoots 3 times. So $300 million is the budget. For the U.S., Disney gets half. They do. They have a better deal than anybody else. They get half. And so then they need to, make about $600 million globally or domestically alone to get to break even if they didn't make anything else internationally. But let's just say, because internationally, I think they only get. I think most studios, it's it's less than 30% that they get from the box
30
office.
Or 20 or 30%.
So I think it's 25 for most. I think Disney's a little less, or a little more, maybe 30. But that being said, at the end of the first week, it's sitting at 88 million in change internationally. And I feel like everybody who wanted to see this movie went to see it already.
It is going to fall off the biggest of cliffs, if that is even possible with the low end of what it made. But it is. It is going to be a massive flop.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I don't, I'm not one of those shills that, oh, was it half bad? Because I'm not going to lie. I have no interest in seeing it. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to hate watch it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give it a chance to say, hey, it might not be as bad as I thought. If you look at my list of to watch movies or to play video games, I have a lot more that I'm interested in than spending, I don't even know how, an hour and 45 minutes watching this trash.
Right.
So in that regard, yes, you're right. It could absolutely be better than I'm expecting. I don't care. I truly do not care. And I'm glad, and I don't, you know me, I don't usually like to revel in
Right.
things like this. I am, because one, Disney, screw you for continually doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And two, Zegler, for opening your big mouth. Now, I will say, it does. The only thing that sucks is that, true, dwarves or little people were not able to have a role in this when they could, other than I think that one in the Seven Bandits, because Disney was too scared after what Peter Dinklage opened its big fat mouth and said, and
Well,
basically
his small fat
prevented,
mouth.
yeah, his small fat mouth, prevented seven others, um, actors that could have had roles in the movie, prevented them from getting that because of like you said, pulling the ladder of success up. That's
Mm-hmm.
absolute garbage. And
Yeah.
again, if that headline that I told you about, if that is true, and I really hope they win. Again, I don't know enough about it or what's going on. I just, because that is bullshit. That's absolute garbage. So of all the things that I'm disappointed in, that's probably the biggest, even though I'm happy that the movie sucks, but I'm disappointed that, for the, seven actors that could have had roles that didn't.
Well, in like they've been saying, it's not just the seven actors; it's the seven stand-ins and potentially seven stunt
Yeah.
people. You're talking about close to 30 people, like when
Right.
it's all said and done, like assistants, things like that.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, okay. But yeah, I don't know. I'm over it. I'm like, it's done. It no longer is it was. To quote Annabeth, whatever her name is from Parks and Rec, the one stylist lady. But I will say this. The internet is having a field day with this. We are no upset, no exception to that. I actually, on Saturday, when they were on, was it Sunday that they finally released the $16 million number from Friday? I texted you and said we're dancing on the grave of this on Tuesday. Actually, we're dancing on the premature grave of this on Tuesday. So yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's talk about something we liked. Daredevil Born Again is not a bad show. I feel like it's pretty nondescript superhero fare.
It's not a bad. It's almost generic in its execution.
That's what I said. Nondescript
And
superhero fare.
yeah, and it's not bad. If we never had a Daredevil from Netflix, now I wouldn't have said this is the best thing ever or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
But I think if we never had, the Daredevil, we never had Jessica Jones, those Netflix shows, or some of those shows, I'll put it that
Man, if
way.
we never had Iron Fist, God, life would be so good.
Life, it would be so much better.
Anyway,
But
actually, if we had Iron Fist with a capable actor as Iron Fist,
and then him, the to have the gall to get to the set and then not be and just really anyway. I think I would like it more. Oh no, I don't think I would like it more, especially if you're comparing it to what we've gotten from Disney and the Marvel shows. I would have liked it more, but it's very difficult when you have 3 seasons of Daredevil from Netflix that did such a spectacular job with the show, that did a spectacular job with the city of Hell's Kitchen and the city of New York as a whole. And this is almost kind of like, it reminds me of if you ever watch those these artists on whatever social media platform or whatever it is, and you watch them go through and they do the bare bones, and then they fill a little bit in, then they do a little bit more of the outline, and then they start shading, and that's where this show stopped. It's like the shading part, because there's nothing that's really what I would call completely alive.
right?
in the show. And the way we're talking about it seems as if it's a terrible
let's talk
show,
about something that
not.
was completely alive in the show. Is when did you just update your score?
No.
Was when Fisk was sitting in a school and they were singing "They Built This City," and I could just see what was going through his eyes, and it involved a car door and all of their tiny little heads.
He wanted to be Master Anakin in that moment.
Master Anakin. I honestly, like, I liked, like, Fisk was great this episode. Like, I mean, not that Vincent D'Onofrio isn't always great in nearly everything he does, but like, he was great because he was like super excited about doing mayor shit, and then when he got bored, he was like, "Yeah, let's go do more stuff." Like, you know, I think Daniel might be one of my favorite characters on the show. He's really the one who has Daniel Blake. He has the most kind of, as the kids say, Riz.
I love his earnestness too with and how he's behind Fisk. And again, he needs to drop BB like as a friend now.
Well, BB's definitely gonna die. So
she brings. I see what they're trying to do with her little man on the street type, segments. It's just not working for me. Like that part, every time they bring that up, or every time they show a segment with hers, it completely takes me out of the story. Right. It's not working. And again, obviously, everything's filmed, so they couldn't change it if they try, even if they wanted to.
We might not know that they changed it though.
Yeah, remove the cup, or remove the whatever Pepsi can, Game of Thrones or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So I liked the best part about Matt this week was when he found the bullet casing. It was like cool. And then when he was throwing Stick's little yo-yo, death yo-yo. It's like we need Daredevil in the Daredevil show. This was the problem with the Dark Knight. And then again with The Dark Knight Rises, when you don't see your hero until the second or third act of the titular show or movie about said hero, it becomes kind of like, eh.
It sounds like a Godzilla movie almost.
Yeah, right? But Godzilla movies aren't about Godzilla. They're about humans. And then the stuntman, John Moxley spot fest that Godzilla comes in and does. And then
John Moxley.
Anyway, that being said, so I liked how he kind of deduced where it could be and did his thing. I am over John Barenthal as the Punisher.
And I am not.
He is so extra. Like, it felt good, didn't it? It was like, are you Batman? What's happening here? Like, are you crazy? Do you not recognize Matt, or you do recognize Matt? Or what's happening? Are you on drugs?
So this is the thing with that, because I actually love that part, except for one thing, and this is not just this one scene. It's how is this relating to the original Daredevil, or you would have to go back to the Punisher too. It's it's like it's flirting with being a continuation, but at the same time, it doesn't want to be, and it wants to distinguish itself from the original. And there's multiple occasions watching this show, or these first 4 episodes, where I've thought this, where it's like, okay, things aren't jiving up. Hell, Fisk got shot in the face are they just acting like this Echo show never existed?
Yes.
I would 1,000%. I wouldn't be fine. I'd be fine with that.
That's just everybody. It's not just Disney.
But and I think it comes down to how, and I know they reshot a lot of stuff, but at its core, they were trying to leave behind the original, and it's like they had to, because of the uproar, they had to sort of or pseudo bring in what came before,
Right.
and it shows because it's a little messy.
Yeah.
Like as and that's I don't know if we're going to be able to get past that
So think of
as
it
the
like the
show
new
goes on.
52, right? Like with
Hmm.
DC, like they picked and chose what like carried over and what stayed. Like the entirety of the Batman story stayed. It was just condensed to like 8 years. The entirety of Hal Jordan's Green Lantern experience stayed, but it was condensed to 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
So kind of like just that weirdness. Yeah,
Are
it
we back
was
to weird, weird?
weird. Yeah, it was just interesting. I did like how the cops have Punisher brand bullets. You know, that's fun. Nice little like poke at real life police. If
And
you're a cop and you have a Punisher sticker on your car,
you probably
probably
want to.
pretty bad taste. Anyway,
So
good.
the other thing that I will say before, like I did not like is, hold on, let me check notes. Leroy. Leroy is a poster child for a generation or for people who will refuse to take responsibility for their actions. The fact that this guy was trying to throw a sob story, and then the fact that Daredevil didn't call him out and say, he was like, "Oh yeah, you're right, you're right, you're no."
Yeah,
Everything you've done is, and the fact that you're continually in jail, the fact that you're continually being arrested, the fact that you don't show up for trials and you get bench warrants, all of that is on you. It's not the system, like the title of the episode, Six Semper Systema. It's not the system, and don't get me. It could be the system, but guess what? You can get yourself out of the system, but by not continually doing stupid shit.
right, right.
And that watching that, because I actually had to watch it over again because I watched it last week and I was like, okay, I don't remember everything that happened, so I have to watch it over again this morning
I watched
yesterday, last night.
both this and Reacher after work today.
So, and it was just listening to him talk. I wanted to put my hands around his neck and tell him
The
and
whole
just
thing
choke
was
him
to
unconscious.
introduce Matt to the Latvian lady.
Yeah. Oh,
The DA or whatever. Who's
right.
I'm assuming she's Muse.
I don't know about that.
Do we know? Have
I
we
don't know.
seen who Muse is? I
No,
yeah, no. I
no, we
think
don't.
she might be Muse. I did not know who Muse was because
I didn't either.
I have not read Daredevil since probably like 2012. And
Mm-hmm.
apparently he was whatever Muse was created by Charles Soule, who's a fantastic comic book writer and author. In 2016. So I'm probably going to go back and do a little reading. So, oh, it's a he. Jamie Park Dewin.
I mean, does that matter nowadays?
Yeah, we're back to that. We're back to that mattering. Like, we weren't for a while, but here we are. Oh, Mr. James Doohan's son plays Muse. That's what I thought.
Who?
Mr. Scott from Star Trek.
Oh,
Beam me up,
really?
Scotty. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to do it, Captain. I kind of did. Giving her all she's got. But yeah. Anyway, all right. So out of 5 Punisher brand sewer bullets, what do you give this episode?
I give it a 3.7. I will say it's still moving in the positive direction. It's still tainted by a far superior product in the original Daredevil, and
Sure.
I just don't know if it's going to ever get past that for me. I'll still enjoy it for what it is, and I'm very curious though for this whole Muse thing, because like I said again, I have no idea who the character is, so I'll be interested to see a character on screen that I have no idea about, and then kind of maybe go back later and see it. It's like I said, moving in the right direction. Yeah, I like the interactions between Matt and Frank. I really liked what we got from Fisk, and I mean, come on, we knew Fisk had Adam locked up.
Yeah.
So 3.7 out of 5.
Yeah, I went with a 3.6. I agree. This is trending. Like, it's better. Like, I just went back and looked. I was higher last week than this week. But like, I liked last week's episode better. But like this, it's still, like you said, it's trending in the right direction. I'm not like, oh my God, I don't want to watch this. I'm more like, if I lose access to Darryl's Disney Plus, like, I'll definitely just bundle my Hulu and watch it. So, there's that. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think, around that 3.5 to 3.75 is like a perfect score for this. And I think that's probably like, to this point in the show where we're on episode 4, we're halfway there. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Yeah, I don't know.
I will say I'm kind of excited to see that he's about to, throw that cowl back on.
Yeah.
Because that's, like you said, without him being Daredevil, I mean, what is this show even?
I don't know. It's Matt Murdock, avocado at law. All right, let's move on. Reacher, penultimate episode of season 3. Season 4 has been confirmed. It is happening. We have the Neely spinoff happening later this year. So we're going to have a whole bunch of Reacher universe stuff going on. I was not a huge, I liked this. Like, when I say I'm not a huge fan of this episode, understand. I really like this show, and like, I don't have an overarching issue with the episode per se. It just kind of like, all of a sudden they're all like in LA, and then all of a sudden they're all back, and not all of a sudden Duffy and Reach are in LA, and then they're back in Boston. And to be honest, it was all shot on the same lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh, well, other than that art gallery and that hotel that was like kind of an LA hotel, the rest of this was still shot in Los Angeles where you guys shoot. So that was my only issue with the suspension of disbelief for this episode. But that being said, we got more Neely, which is always a good thing. And we are in the end game now.
We actually get to see Teresa. We knew she was alive, but we actually get to see her. And we actually, once again, Quinn kind of lets us know just how much of a sicko he is. Talking about, if I had a chance with you, to use you up and then cut off all the fun bits or whatever he said.
Yeah. DK went dark.
Yeah, seriously.
DK, like, losing to Lucas like that. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, if you lost to Alabama street trash in a drift racing where you are called the Drift King, you're gonna do some dark shit.
So yeah, like the whole jet packing across the country and then back again. Yeah, that's a little
that doesn't bother me because we do have airplanes.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, I know it's about the time though, and how everything is supposed to be happening like now, and it's just so. Again, I will say that I pick, like, one of my nitpicks is a time factor in any type of show or movie, and when I say nitpick, I mean it's just like whatever. And this is kind of like a similar thing. It's like, okay, whatever. It's a little much, but okay, we're going to go to LA, and we're still going to make this deal. Okay, whatever. But, I mean, it's a solid episode. I really did like the scene we get between Beck and Richard. I thought that was a really strong scene.
With the cap gun.
Yeah,
that was really good, especially like because like thinking about what Zachary's going through, like having watched Richard be forced to play Russian roulette, and then like, why do you have a gun? And then what it turns out to be, it's something much more wholesome. But it was, it was. I agree. I think that this was the best. This was the best Anthony Michael Hall scene in the whole season.
Absolutely.
And like, I like Anthony Michael Hall. He's a, he's an actor I enjoy.
16 Candles.
Dead Zone.
Yep.
But he did such a good job, and he was like, I pushed you away. And this was kind of heartbreaking because he's like, I pushed you away because I saw how it was when your mom died, and I didn't want you to feel that way when I died.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
tough.
it's for the wrong reasons, but like at the same time, he was trying to do what he thought was the right thing. I like I said, like I liked this episode. My whole problem with this episode was the aesthetics of the background scenery. But I liked the Neely and Zachary scene as well when she was negotiating the arms deal with him, and I used air quotes there for negotiating the arms deal. That was a really cool scene. Neely's just a badass.
Oh, I really like her as a character.
I think the other one that was good was when Duffy was like yelling at Reacher about like going half cocked and trying to kill Quinn and pissing the government off. She's like, "You're to be on the run, never anywhere to stop, no one to rely on." And he's like, "Yeah, that's the plan."
That's one of those. That's like, like you already have it. You don't have to sell me on it.
Yeah, I already bought it. What do you like? I voted for it. It was that was a great scene. I like the whole like, I thought we weren't doing this again, and she's like, then I saw who you were, and it was like,
I know. So I mean, that was like straight rom-com type.
I will say, Alan is getting to the point where he looks like his traps are so big now. He looks like he's a little guy inside of a bigger mech. Dude, I bet that dude is crazy strong.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
But I mean, like, you look like, I want to know what he's taking. Like,
oh yeah,
he's definitely not natty.
Come on,
he's not natty.
It's all natty.
No, there's
all
nothing
natty.
natural about that. Like,
hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah, hashtag Kenny KO. He's doing at least a gram a week.
I think I don't know if you ever heard of him, but Greg Doucette. He's he used to be a bodybuilder. He's a coach now, and he has some of the most entertaining videos on YouTube. I think he did a video last year on Richardson. I think it was last year.
Well, I don't know if I watched how he
eats
whatever he wants. He doesn't watch what he eats. He eats whatever, and it's like, because you're 40, almost 40, and you're on Tren or VAR or both or something else. Some but I mean, to be fair, like, he looks like what Reacher is described in the books. For the most part, which is pretty cool. I think he's great in the role. I do feel like this season has been like, after last season, this is like the rebound season from like, you were dating the super hot chick and now you're with it. Like he went from Serinda Swan to Duffy, right? Like, that's a pretty good analogy there. For what last season was to this season. I'm interested to see how they end this, because there's one episode left and I don't feel like we know anything that's like really going on as far as like what really is the end game here other than kill Quinn.
Yeah, right. And Reacher versus Paulie. That's that is that's almost like that was more the end game than killing Quinn, or it's like 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
So this was a nice penultimate episode to get us to the finish line. So we'll see what we have. And again, I've liked this season. in part because I've kind of changed my framing of what this is. Mm-hmm. This isn't the Terminal List. Mm-mm. Yeah, the Terminal List is a serious. Well, I mean, again, Reacher's a fun show and it's well done for what it is. And I'm really missing the Terminal List. I need season 2. I need the Taylor Kitsch spinoff.
Oh,
like
the
right
Taylor
now.
Kitsch spinoff definitely is something we need to watch.
Cannot wait for that. Yeah, but Reacher, it's just very entertaining, and I can't really, because the number one purpose of a show like this is to entertain. So it's doing its job. Mm-hmm. It's not perfect. There are things that I'm like, okay, this is treading towards Vin Diesel, Dom Toretto territory. Right. But guess what? And I think it feels like more this season they've learned to not take themselves as seriously. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or if that's just my way because I started taking it less seriously and just enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to see how everything is wrapped up for season 3, and I'm definitely glad that we're getting a season 4.
Agreed. All right. So out of 5, you just can't call the ATFs. What do you give this?
3.91 out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, with a 4.1. I mean, we're right there. I think I liked what I liked. I was for the first time in the series taken out of the suspension of disbelief at all. But other than that, I mean, it was still a good episode.
Yeah, it was.
And everything you said about what kind of a penultimate episode it is. I really hope Richard survives with both ears.
Yeah. I really thought last episode where it was like he wanted a matching set, we were going to get Richard with just wearing earmuffs for the rest of his life.
He's going to make Richard look like Snape. Or not Snape, Voldemort. You're a wizard, Harry. Anyway.
So yeah, looking forward for the finale. We'll have that. We'll have Daredevil next week. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you will. I will be trying to check out this weekend sometime. Working Man.
Oh, is that this weekend?
It comes out Friday.
Oh, cool.
I think Thursday or Friday.
I think it's supposed to be kind of rainy this weekend too. So.
Yeah. So.
We don't have plans. We were just talking about today. So, maybe I'll do that. Cool. I downloaded I bought Riff Raff, that movie with Bill Murray.
Okay.
That looks really good. So, and Pete Davidson. It's funny. I don't like Pete Davidson as a comedian, but I do like Pete Davidson as an actor. So there's that. But yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Then no.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna get to editing. You guys will be listening to this in a few minutes. Yeah, cool. All right. See y'all next week. Bye.
See ya.
The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. You can find new episodes every Sunday on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, our website, or anywhere podcasts are downloaded. This show is hosted by Darryl Jasper and me, Brian Tudor. To find more information about the show, visit us at infamouspodcast.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infamous Podcast to keep up with the show. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/infamouspodcast. We have some great rewards for our patrons and are looking for help to grow the show to bring you more of the content you want to hear. Music for this podcast is provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. So, whenever you're listening to us, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.